Javi, nice meeting you, bro. I think we touched base and even before recording this. You were telling me that now you're well, I kind of know your background as I started seeing you going into reviewing restaurants, and then it went on to you being part of the Charlotte FC influence that is going on here in Charlotte. I think I'd like to ask you first, like, on where you're from, how you started, because you just didn't become QC Javi from day and night.
Right. Oh, man. Hold on.
Are you more busy now that you're QC Javi?
Yeah, kind of. All right, you want to keep this or you
Yeah,
no,
it's over? Fine. It's fine. Keep on going. It happens. It happens. So, like, I think people.
Sorry, guys. So look, I've always been the type of person that liked live events.
Okay.
And I always would go to concerts and carry a camera. You know, I was very introverted at the time. So one way that I liked experiencing concerts was making sure that I could record and then being able to come back and relive that experience. Here in Charlotte, we had the kind of like the blessing that we're in the middle or in between New York and Miami. So we would always get like big artists that you wouldn't think would come to Charlotte, and they would always have a stop on the worst possible day, like a Monday or a Tuesday, but they would come to Charlotte and I'd be able to see them live. So because it didn't happen often, I would always capture some content, always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I never did anything with my content. So I always kind of just cherished it. And it was like, oh, I went to this concert and I saw this artist like so close. And I always wanted to create a blog. I always wanted to talk about the concerts, do reviews and these things. But I was so anxious about myself that I would never post it. I really never posted it. And I'm going to tell you one reason why. Growing up, I felt like I got made fun of by my family and friends because of how high-pitched my voice is.
Okay. I can see that happening because I was actually made fun of by my family because I had like chubby cheeks. So like they'd be like chubby cheeks. Like the first thing they would say is chubby cheeks. So for you, it kind of was like they kind of recognize you by your high-pitched voice. Like, do you care to share your nickname?
Well, I didn't have a nickname for my voice, but it was always like, eres bien chiqueado, you know, because I was the youngest one. So, el chiqueado Javi, and all these things. And
how'd that make you feel?
Well, at the time, I was like, damn, I wish I could grow up so that my voice can change and be like, you know, deeper.
Yeah.
But now, it's the tables have turned because now my voice makes me recognizable. And so many people... Because I'll call a restaurant and be like, hey, can I place an order? And they're like, hey, is this Javi? They're like, yeah, it is. They're like, yo, you have such a peculiar voice that we know when you call. And I'm like, okay, well, it's a sign. So my voice has turned into a part of my brand. Okay. And whether I'm yelling or screaming or cheering for Charlotte FC or whatever it is, now I'm embracing my voice. And it's something that for the longest time, it kept me like undercover. Okay. Right. So being able to take that step forward and not worrying about my voice allowed me to start producing content where now my face was out there.
Yeah.
And
do you think you recorded just like the video or other people because you were so aware of the fact that people made fun of you of your voice? Did you talk in your videos whenever you were recording, or just focused on the artist?
So after the concert that I would make at home, I would always review the footage.
Okay.
And then I'd be like, okay, tomorrow morning, I'm going to record my review of my experience. And then the next morning would come and I'd be like, nah, I don't want to do it. Nah, I don't want to do it. Or I would start recording and then I would hate it. And I'm like, this is so boring. Like, why do I want to post this? And then I would let it die. And then days and weeks happen. And then another concert would come. I would go with the same intention. And then I would let the content die. And I just had so much stuff like that happened consistently. I was consistent at filming
Mm-hmm.
and letting the content die.
At what age did you start doing it, and like at what age did you kind of feel like you transitioned into the area of you feeling comfortable to post? Because like what kind of was like the experience of your first posting?
I would say that initially I started creating content about musicians.
Yeah.
I'm a rock star and I play drums, so I've always been a musician here in Charlotte, played with a lot of different bands. And me going to concerts and experiencing live music and me wanting to cover and create content, there was a time that I was creating content through a platform called Latino Alternativo here in Charlotte.
Okay.
And that was picking up because I was traveling to festivals. I traveled to award shows. I got to meet some really cool, important artists. And I started feeling like I kind of hated what I was doing because I was chasing the artist too much.
Okay.
So to answer your question, when did I make the shift? Is when I went to the Latin Grammys and there were artists that were in front of me going through so many people from the media.
Yeah.
And then them skipping me because I wasn't known or because I wasn't ready with a camera or anything like that. And me being like, but why didn't you stop? I'm here. like I'm present and I want to record.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have that presence because I didn't have the experience. And then I felt like I had to chase Karol G to be like, yo, Karol G, give me a photo or give me an interview. And that made me hate creating content about music because I was always chasing people. So what happened is that I didn't completely eliminate Latino Alternativo, but I had a platform as a YouTuber that I always wanted to have Javi's blogs or Javi Explores or Javi anything. And I made a poll through my friends on what my name change should be, right?
Okay.
And that's where I posted, should I be called QC Javi? And a lot of people were like, no, that's so cheesy. No, that's lame. That's so simple. There's so many QC everythings. But
what that made you feel though?
No, it didn't make me feel any way because it's like pitching on market research, right? So I didn't take it personal. I wanted to know really what they thought. And once I found out what they thought, what struck is that it created engagement. And I was like, okay, so the term QC Javi is bringing positive and negative conversation. Let's change it to QC Javi.
But the important part was like engaging people.
Exactly. So I was like, thanks to QC Javi, people don't have to know me just by Javi. They can know me by QC or whatever, because saying Javier or Javi is already hard enough when people see it and they don't know how to pronounce it. So I've lived through that my whole life.
Okay.
First of all. And once QC Javi got established, I started working on my personal brand then. Okay. And it was all like, okay, you didn't like chasing artists. Now you become the person in front of the camera. How are you going to overcome your fears about your voice, about the way you look, about everything to make it better so that you can be appealing to people? I had, como dirían en español, like me mordió un huevo, and I just had to do it. You know, I had to be confident with myself to make it happen and expose myself in a way that I had never done it before. And when I started seeing people either sharing my content, that gave me a sense that I was making the right decision and I needed to keep going.
And you brought up a good point there, and I'm gonna just check the audio to make sure that I am recording. Yeah, no, it's because I'm overthinking it over here. It's you said it was only not only your voice but also your image. You said so you were also kind of concerned of like you didn't record back then too, also because of how you looked on camera.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you know, one of the things that you asked me earlier when talking about my voice is like, what was your nickname? I didn't have a nickname for my voice, but I did have a nickname for my appearance, because in my family, a lot of my family members are a lot lighter than me. And I was a little bit darker, so I was always called Negrito by family members. And like, my mom never liked it, because she knew that it got to the point where I felt conscious about it, and I hated it. I didn't necessarily understand why, because I just felt that it was kind of harsh, right? At the time when I was little. I came here when I was 10, and when I was here, and I hope it's not racist or anything like that, but I saw that there were a lot darker people than me, and then it didn't offend me anymore, because I'm no, like, all these people have been wrong my whole life. Like, I'm not that Negrito, you know?
And I don't think it's wrong, because in a way you helped yourself kind of develop into who you really wanted to be, and not allow that colorism to hold you back from really becoming on who you wanted to be. So I feel like if it's your own self-development, you didn't really affect anyone else. So it's like, it was to your aid. So
right. So when talking about being in front of camera, about my appearance, because in a way I was very insecure, not because I had any actual issues, is just insecurities that you build up as you get older, right? So no, I didn't like taking photos of me. I remember my mom is the type of person, and maybe this is where it came from, right? When we came to the US, my mom would always invest into the latest camera. She would always record birthday parties whenever we'd go to trips. And from time to time, I would grab the camera and be okay.
Was she the one behind the camera all the time?
She just let anybody record whatever they wanted. My brother was the one mostly behind the camera, and I really didn't care. I just wanted to play, because my brother was older. He probably understood technology more than me.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was an expensive equipment. They probably didn't want me touching it because I'd break it. So my brother would be the one handling it. But I say that to say that whenever I was in high school and middle school and I was playing sports, or I was in the band, my mom would always come around and record me. And I'd be like, oh, no, don't record me. I don't want to be on camera.
And at that age, did you have that kind of like intention to record other people, or no? No,
at that time, I feel like content creators or like videographers weren't a thing. So I wasn't thinking of that. I was just trying to have fun and enjoy myself in school. But my mom, because she didn't get to see this artistic side of me, let's say at home, whenever I'd play sports or I played music, she would come and be like, hey, I'm proud of you. Like, I want to record. And I'd be like, no, don't record me. Record all the other people. And she's like, why the hell would I want to record all the other people? I only care about you.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that till later. But that just talks on the insecurities that I felt, that I didn't even want my mom to record me at the time,
Yeah.
And now that we're talking here, how it's shifted and how it's changed to now. Can I curse here?
You go ahead.
That now I'm like a camera whore. Right? Now, if you see my content, one of the rules, I mean, it's not a rule, but if it's on my page, it's because I'm in it. It's because I'm in it.
Oh, okay.
If a company works with me and they're like, hey, we want to do a campaign on anything, I'm like, okay, but my face is gonna be in it.
And it's not only restaurants now, right? It's other parts of it. But so then your rule is kind of like to just be in there then.
Yeah, I tell them, hey, my people follow me because they like seeing my face.
Okay.
If you want me to put an ad about your company, my face has got to be in it.
No, dude, and I think the fact that you just turned your insecurities into your strengths speaks a lot into how you've turned around into being who you are today, because I think anybody that can look up to you or looks at you is like, man, this guy has always been confident, brings on the energy, and is relentless on anything. He can have a conversation with anybody. But if you look kind of like the background of where you came from, you're like, yo, where the hell did this guy come from?
Exactly. And that's why I like talking about it, because I wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
This has been a development of the last 5 years as YouTube started growing, as Instagram started growing, and I knew I wanted to be in this field. And yeah, it was harder because I didn't necessarily have someone to look up to other than YouTubers that were doing their content.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just harder because you have to learn by yourself here in this city. You don't have a big YouTuber from Charlotte, right? That you can be like, oh, he's going to have a conference. He's going to have these networking events for you to learn. So you have to learn by yourself. And it's kind of like the jungle out here. It's not like living in LA or in New York where there's agencies and there's constantly development of this type of entertainment industry.
I actually didn't even know that existed.
It does. It totally does.
Oh, okay. But then here you're like, you just became aware that it was going to be a lot more difficult to brand yourself as a content creator and really be able to make a living off of it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because brands, when they need publicity, they're not looking at Charlotte as the hub of, oh, let me find this Latino creator.
Yeah.
No, there's 1,000 of those in cities like LA that's full of Mexicans, full of Latinos, full of Asians. All ethnicities are available at bigger cities.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So what did I have to do? I had to make sure that not only did I represent my culture well, but that I was staying true to myself by representing Charlotte anywhere I went. Okay. So every time I've traveled to LA or Florida or New York or anywhere really even outside the US, I always represent Charlotte through a hat, through a shirt, whatever it needs to be. And whenever people ask me, hey, where are you from? Like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm an influencer from Charlotte.
Okay.
You know, I've never been afraid of saying where I'm from, where I come from, and what has helped me develop myself. But there's definitely been a lack of resources that are available in Charlotte that have made me take longer to reach where I'm at now, right? And there's still a lot more levels that I need to reach. So I'm still not up there.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. We're working, and it's all a process.
And I think it's a start, especially because Charlotte is becoming a hub. Mm-hmm. I think all of North Carolina, it's being recognized for its beauty.
Yeah.
And now even for it just being the name Queen City, it's attractive. It's just have so many breweries coming up, so many restaurants coming up. So therefore there is a bigger market, and it's whenever you say kind of like you go to other cities, I mean, kind of whenever you build your brand, it's kind of limitless what you can do, because you can literally go to another state, let's say LA city, and if someone hires you, you can literally bring a whole new market, the Charlotte market, to their business, and I just see like that's beautiful, and that it's so impactful just what you're doing, and I feel like I don't really know anybody that's Hispanic that's doing these type of things, and even I told you I was kind of like a little anxious, a little I held a lot of respect for you, because what you did wasn't easy, and there's really no one doing it out here like you. As soon as I started seeing like the restaurant things, I was like, wow, this guy's just I recognize you by your voice, just like you said, and I was like I love it because I listen to other Hispanic people too on in LA. Have you ever heard about Piolín?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's recognized by his voice. So I'm not saying you're like him, but it's kind of like you were able to turn a weakness into a strength, but nobody really knows where it came from. Like nobody really knows where that whole initial thing happened. So I mean, props to you, man, because I feel like you're just driving a whole new influence all over Charlotte, because people are gonna look up to you and they're gonna be like, yo, I want to be like him one day.
Thank you.
So
it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of bad experiences.
Okay,
but you have to prepare yourself mentally that any bad situation can turn into good as long as your mindset is where it needs to be and you're clear with your purpose, and that's the key.
And what points would you say kind of where it stalled your progress? You said you were coming onto the scene, kind of, or you've been starting coming onto the scene like 5 years ago. when did you feel like kind of your journey was stalled, or you felt kind of like it was, man, I've reached my point and I don't think I want to continue this? It died. I'm sorry. It's all good. Or continue.
When did it stall?
Yeah. When did it slow down for you? Because I mean, I feel like we have our highs and we have our lows. Kind of like, what was kind of like a low point for you where, I mean, maybe you thought about giving this up?
I'm gonna give you two examples just because I feel there's always a time where your job takes most of your time. Okay. And you also don't have the support from your family because they don't believe in this type of work. So
okay, I'm just kind of like, I would quit then. Yeah. Because being from a Hispanic background, I know how hard my parents can be on me. It's like, you have to go to college, you have to have a job. If you're over here selling content, what the heck? No estás haciendo nada. No sirves para nada.
To them, it's nothing, and that's why I'm saying that was one of the points. There was a time where, I needed to create a revenue stream, and I was working, but I wanted to quit my job, and my mom was like, "Why are you gonna quit? Like, what are you gonna do now?" And I say, well, I want to continue focusing on creating content. I want to become a YouTuber. Like, YouTubers can make a living off of this and make so much money.
What was your mom's reaction to that?
And she's like, why the fuck would you want to do that? Like, that's dumb. And I'm like, why do you think that's dumb? You watch YouTube videos of ladies cooking all the time. And they're making money. So it's like, why can't you look at it from the other perspective? Yeah. Just like you, there's people that would watch my content. And I'm going to tell you that the same way I built my insecurities growing up, maybe I built my insecurities, or I passed my insecurities onto my mom to where she would think, but why? You never want to be on camera. You never wanted me to record you.
Okay, so...
And then that came back. And it's like, damn, I built that. The same way you build my insecurities. So then that's why I say insecurities are such a important thing to acknowledge, and being able to trace back where they came from.
Okay.
Right? So that's why I have to acknowledge that my mom wasn't telling me these things to not be supportive, but she was just bringing back what I mentioned to her from previous years on why maybe I wasn't going to be successful, because at that time, I didn't like being on camera.
And I think that speaks a lot of languages to like just about anybody, because I think like, well, I can only relate to you as because I'm from a Hispanic culture, but I too was really photogenic. I never wanted to be on camera. I never want to smile on camera. It's like, me dicen, es como que si estuvieras oliendo mierda. Like,
so, smile. And you know what? It's crazy. It's crazy because if you look at any photos of me pre 2010, right? I was wearing glasses. Well, at 2010, I wasn't wearing glasses anymore, luckily. But I wore glasses throughout high school. I obviously didn't have a beard. I had some crowded teeth in the bottom. Okay. And, you become so conscious about those things.
The perfect combo.
To where it's like, yo, I'll probably send you a photo so you can be like, yo, who the fuck is this? And luckily, through the resources that I got from working at Sprint with insurance, health benefits, and all these things, I was able to get braces. I was able to do better about, not for the image or the aesthetic of things, but just because I wanted to fix some shit. And I remember my mom got me a LASIK surgery for my graduation gift after high school. So then I stopped wearing glasses. That was the first step.
Okay.
Not having to wear glasses. Then around 2012, 2013, I got braces. Then around 2015, 2016, I got them taken off. And during braces, you would see me smiling like it was fucking Cinco de Mayo or whatever. And then once I got them taken off, bro, it was over from there. I was like, yo, I'm actually kind of attractive.
Okay.
And I say that to say that your confidence level just changes when you make these small tweaks.
But,
yeah, I don't know. But
I think it goes back.
Worth it.
But I think it also, it wasn't only your image change, but your mentality change.
Yeah. At that time, I also went through a lot of emotional roller coasters.
Okay.
Because I had a girlfriend that I was with for a long time.
How long? Is long?
5 years.
Okay.
5 years. But it was at a very peak moment of my life. Because I was 19. So I was with her from being 19 to about 24, 25.
Okay.
And if you can think, those are very early years of wanting to party and all these things and, getting to know the world.
Development years. Yeah.
And at the time, she was my world. So I lost track of myself, and that helped me. Once we broke up, that helped me realize that I needed to develop myself a lot better.
Okay.
And then that's when I started making these like conscious changes to become a better person.
Okay.
And then while we're on the same subject, and then this is a very important part of who I am. So we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Because I think it makes sense. So I hope they're not watching. When I had that first relationship, I felt like I gave it my all and I didn't receive the same in return. Okay? So once we broke up, I was like, okay, now it's time to do myself.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I need to develop myself. I need to be better. I need to be mentally stable before I get into another relationship. So a few years later comes another girl, and then now I'm the one trying to be stable, and she's the one that's giving it all for me. And then that flipped the coin on the way that I was receptive to the situation.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying?
But what was the change? What was the exact change in you?
That now, the first relationship,
Yeah.
not trying to complicate it
Yeah.
more than it needs to be, because we don't need to get into too much detail. But at first, I would say she was a little more mature and I was a little less mature, so I wanted to give it all for her, and my immaturity made it seem like she wasn't giving enough, so I was always hurt.
Okay. Okay.
You there?
Yeah. Got it.
Then this next person, while I was trying to be better, was giving it all for me, and I wasn't. I was a little more mature, so I was like, no, I don't want a relationship, right? So we had a situationship.
But it's because you were more a little. You didn't do it to like necessarily hurt her. You did kind of like for like your own,
for my own good.
strength, yeah.
But doing it allowed her to fall in love with me, and then we got into a situationship for 2 years.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying, where the tables turned, that now I was on the other side.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't want a relationship. And she's like, no, but I do, and all these things. And once that fell out, I was more conscious about myself, about how to deal with both scenarios.
Okay, so
that's actually what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. I mean, so you basically had to go through two relationships, two really meaningful relationships that changed you into the person you are today.
Correct, because I'm a lot more conscious about my mentality and having right intentions.
Okay.
With a person, right?
Yeah.
And then that allowed me to be able to manage my relationships as a content creator with businesses or with people or networking and things like that.
Okay. And
that's where I was getting to.
Like in what ways do you think you matured then?
I'm more conscious. I am more caring. I don't overthink as much.
Okay.
And I just try to be positive and finding purpose with what I do.
Okay. So then that after those two relationships you were formed, are you in a relationship now that the third one, that like how do you feel now then, kind of where you stand in your relationships? Not only I guess with is it your girlfriend or is it your
my girlfriend?
It's okay. So your girlfriend, and also how has that shaped kind of the relationships you've grown into as QC Javi?
So I'm super happy with my current relationship because I was able to be more affirmative with her.
Okay.
My expectations and her expectations have been met to where we agree a lot more.
You felt like you disagreed a lot in a lot of other scenarios in your past relationships?
Yeah, for sure. Just because I feel like there was always that unlevel playfield, you know? Like my expectations were different than her expectations, and then that's why I always felt like I wasn't deserving or I wasn't getting the same in return. Now I try to do things better where there's communication.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. We work together and we just make things happen. I also try to include her in my content. I try to provide support.
Okay.
I try to provide my resources. And at the same time, she also treats me like, like the man of the house. And she allows me to make rules and not rules like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
But just allows me to be able to handle what I need to handle in order for us to have a peaceful, like, good, positive, proactive household. Because we live together. So that's another thing that super changed, that before I never lived with any of my relationships.
Was it because
this time I was like, no, we're going to do it because I'm not going to I'm not going to let the relationship kind of plateau, like stay still. Like, no, we want to learn, we want to continue getting better, and I think you're the right person for us to be able to do this, so let's do it. And I'm super happy with the way things are working out. We enjoy traveling together, we enjoy doing things. She supports me a whole bunch, as much as I try to do for her. So again, this is like a very communicative relationship to where we just talk about things that happen to each other, right?
So if we go back into like the early stages of the first relationship, the second, and then to the third, obviously the third, it was shaped kind of like by your other two experiences. How do you think that has impacted the success on the relationships you formed as QC Javi? What do you feel you take from all of this, and what, because those things brought upon the success that you have now, so like kind of like, how does that impact you as QC Javi with your other relationships, you could say, like your business relationships?
So I feel like now I'm more conscious about the things I like and I don't like.
Okay.
So that whenever I was looking for a partner, we could have conversation whether that was something that they would agree or disagree on.
Okay.
Right? And before making the choice of commitment, if that was brought up on like, hey, do you like going out every weekend? Do you not like? Okay, I don't like going out every weekend. So we're on the same page.
Okay.
So that allowed me, before stepping into a relationship, like a set thing, that we were able to have conversations about our preferences and how we were going to try to make this a long-term thing. Instead of just like, hey, you know what, let's get to know each other. I feel like with this current relationship, I was more assertive just by the way I felt we were communicating and our kind of like, how can I put it? I just felt like we bonded a lot better than I ever bonded with anybody else, just because of the conversations we were having and the topics that we were discussing. And I can say that we were able to set it up correctly. Like, we're just both very good for each other.
And I feel like when you find that balance, you also get to find kind of the way to network out to your, like, let's say your business relationships. And like my example is that, for example, if I'm having a busy day and like kind of like my day is hectic and I want to come back home to some type of balance, because then again, that's also going to prepare me to be able to network with people the next day, be able to start early mornings, be able to communicate to people, and also stay motivated. I think whenever you have the right person, you also stay really motivated. And whether that's through your mom, dad, your girlfriend. I feel like that's also one of the things that has formed my, I guess, motivation and my networks. Like the past 3 years, I've also been under a transformation to where I don't allow my insecurities, my doubts, and allow myself to find that balance so that I can translate it to every single aspect of my life. And I think once you find that and leave the turbulence in the past, anything that has ever formed you, and really focus on the transformation of who you are, dude, I literally have networked with mentors that have been mentored by, like, let's say Tony Robbins. I'm like, I never thought I could be in this position, but you never think you can be in that position until you're in that position.
Exactly. And it's just crazy because there's so many possibilities out there that we don't even think of, because the internet is just such a big world, right? There's no limitation to the internet. And it's crazy because I've gotten opportunities from places that I never imagined, and they enjoy my content, and I'm like, bro, how do you know like who I am, or how did you find me? So I always like asking that, just because that kind of, it solidifies that what I'm doing makes sense and it works. And I'm lucky that you mentioned having balance, because I honestly, currently, with my relationship and everything that I do, I am managing my life in a way that I do have balance. Yeah. And it allows me to continue being creative, and then that's allowing me to grow. And it's also pushing me to offer her resources to where if she wants to have this freedom, she has the options to, right? And and maybe she has her insecurities, but I try not to bring that up. And that's one of those things that I feel like I've tried to get better on, understanding other people, and that it's not all about me, right? Like, you got to help, and you got to have purpose. And that's what I try to do with my content. So yeah. No,
and you say it's like, but it's, I think it's an exchange of like energies, or I could say an exchange of time, because whenever you meet these people, it's kind of like they're so intrigued by you, but you're also enjoying it. Like you're literally having the time of your life doing this, and you've been so successful because when you find something that really aligns with who you are as a person, or the person that you want to become, it's not a job.
Right. It's so cliche to say it that way. Yeah, for sure. And, one thing that I take pride in my content is that I always say, out of all the influencers that may be here or anywhere else, I have the most fun, because I've tried to implement enjoying what I'm doing, because I want other people that watch my content to also come and enjoy it. So if you watch my YouTube videos right now,
and what's your content mostly about? Because like we can go into that now. Like, what are you currently doing now, and how do you plan on expanding that?
So right now, I'm lucky to have access to make it to the Charlotte FC games. I'm focusing a lot on creating game day vlogs. I want to be able to collaborate on a larger scale, maybe with MLS, covering not only Charlotte FC but other teams. But I love being able to showcase the experience of the fan. I'm not trying to talk logistics and like this person scored 5 goals or this person got a red card and all that. No, I feel like there's people documenting all that stuff already on a professional level.
There's
to where I don't need to do that. I need to showcase how are the fans enjoying their team, how are they enjoying the experience at the stadium, what are they eating. And that's what I'm doing right now with my YouTube page, that I hope I continue expanding it and growing it. But the reason why I do it is because that also allows me to have fun while doing it. Experiencing that. And again, one of the main reasons why I started creating content at the beginning is because I wanted people to enjoy things that were happening here in Charlotte that they needed to know about, so that they could come also experience it. That was the key to anything. If you remember anything about me, is I want to create content because I want people to come and enjoy these things too. I don't want to be selfish and be like, hey, there's this concert next week of Karol G. Like, don't tell anybody because I don't want nobody to show up. No, I want that thing to sell out, and I want a ton of people to come. So I want to notify and let people know, because the current media isn't doing enough to let people know that these events are happening and that they need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I see that you're even like on the sidelines, so like you have an insight, a sneak peek into like what's happening, and I've looked over your videos and I'm like, dude, I have a lot of fun experiencing other fans too.
Yeah.
And kind of like the way you're experiencing the world, I have fun watching that. I have fun watching people interact with people.
Yeah.
Like whether that's through food, that's through the games, and I think you bring on a different perspective that we haven't seen, especially because the Charlotte FC team is so new, dude. I think you can capitalize on it so much, not only I guess for you to become a content creator, but for also other people to come and experience the same thing too, because just like you said, the internet is so wide. This is so big, you just never know whether you're going to bring a person from another country, from another state, and it's all because you made that connection.
Exactly. And I've been blessed to be able to create connections. Like recently, I don't know if you saw that I traveled to St. Louis.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
And St. Louis, they're even newer than Charlotte, and I got access to be on the field for their home opener. And so many people have reached out and commented on my video for the St. Louis game that they won. Charlotte FC lost. Okay. And we
got to talk about that.
And they've made sure that I knew that we lost in my video. But a lot of the feedback has also been like, hey, thank you so much for this video. It was such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Thank you for capturing it the way you did, because that allows me to remember what I felt at the game.
Dude,
right? And I'm like, that's why I do it. And that's why I think that I do it for the fans more than for the team, because they're able to see themselves and relive that experience. Okay. And from our home opener here in Charlotte FC, I remember that day so well that every time the game's about to start, like there's a tear that is trying to come out. It doesn't fully come out, but I feel it. And it's just so crazy that sports can cause that effect in people's like feelings and heart and all that stuff. And the way soccer right now is growing in the US and allowing people to become like diehard fans from day one, is something that everybody needs to take advantage of. And
you talk about impact, dude. The type of impact the soccer team has made on this city is just unrecognizable, I would say, because before you did not, I don't really think I got the same experience from football. Yeah, I saw fans walking to the stadium, but I didn't see fans celebrating or crowds forming in on the streets to celebrate. They literally have to close off so many streets because there's just so much fun going on, and the excitement here, it's kind of like dress the city in blue. It's insane. Like I just look at it and I'm like, dude, even if you're not a soccer fan, it still invokes a feeling. And feeling, I feel it's one of the most important things that a human being can have. And you associating the feeling of the game with yourself, and then you kind of recognize yourself as the Queen City, Charlotte FC, and that's just like unrecognizable from what it used to be before. And so I'm just so happy that you're the one. Like, I don't think there is any other individual that can be better than you. I really don't. I don't think. I think you really have done something special here, dude. It's your voice. Is it your face? Is it your figure? I don't know. It's everything. And props to you on your journey on this, dude, because I think you're really gonna change how fans experience the game, but also you're having fun doing that, and that's really gonna bring a lot of abundance and success down the line for you and for a lot of other creators too that might step in the game. But you were a pioneer.
Thank you. And I really appreciate your words because it's hard, right? Just like filming a podcast every week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to try to make a different video of the same thing that happens every week. So I gotta think of creative ways to turn it around, and now I'm lucky to have a few sponsors for my videos with the
and can you name them for the camera? Who are your sponsors?
Yeah, so right now my blog is sponsored by Compare Foods, which, if you know, they're a big grocery store where you can find all the amazing things from Latin America that you won't find in a regular store.
Okay.
And they have like 8 locations here in Charlotte, and I do a segment of my vlog where I ask for score predictions.
Okay.
So one way that they are helping me make it more fun is that if you guess the right score prediction, they'll give away a prize.
And the prize is it a gift card?
I'm changing it every week.
Okay.
So this past week, it was some gift certificates to Compare Foods.
Okay.
And once I announced that, because that's the idea, to be able to announce it before,
yeah,
so that at the tailgate or at the game, you find me and you're like, hey, I want to participate, or hey, what's your score prediction? So the way people were engaging to my announcement of the giveaway was so funny, because I was like, hey, what other prizes do you guys want to see?
Yeah.
And some people were commenting like, hey, tell them to give away a bag of avocados.
Did you hear a ring? Did you hear a ring?
No.
I don't think so. And aguacate.
No, a bag of aguacates, bro, because they're like, yo, we want aguacates because aguacates are so expensive right now. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, really? That's what you're thinking about? And some other people were like, yo, some lengua for some tacos.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
Like, I wanted you to answer some like Charlotte FC stuff, but if you want to take advantage of the actual grocery store, yeah, then I guess they can give away some avocados.
I would ask for eggs. Please give me some eggs.
They sell eggs, so it's definitely one of those things that can be in the giveaway. Which today, because nobody guessed it correctly,
yeah,
I'm posting a giveaway for a jersey. Right, okay. So there will be a giveaway for a jersey. There will be giveaways for tickets to the games, maybe some meet and greets if people want to meet me and go have lunch with me or something and have a conversation. We want to make it. They're allowing me to have creative freedom.
Yeah.
Which, like I mentioned to you earlier, I think that's the best gift or best like the most advantage.
The benefit.
I don't know. That's the biggest benefit that I have with the brand that I've built.
Okay.
That people want me for who I am, and being me is the easiest thing I can do.
Dude, that is just beautiful for you, and I feel though as that's gonna translate not only to you but our whole Charlotte community. And like I said, I think we might have to cut it off because we're closing the hour. But dude, it was just so fun, and I think this conversation was just so engaging just for anybody. And for the sponsors out there that want to also contribute to QC Javi's growth, and also whenever you do that, you're not contributing to just his growth, but like I think the whole Charlotte community, Charlotte FC, and just bringing the community together. I think that God is going to bring, I'm really faithful, so I know God is going to brindarte con todas las bendiciones que te mereces.
Thank you. So
I really do appreciate it. Kind of to close it out, I wanted to talk about one thing, dude, about the Charlotte FC team. How can we make our team better? What would be your message to David Tepper?
I mean, it depends. How do you want the team to be better? Like the players for us to win? Because I feel that winning is going to take time. Okay. And it's not something that I can literally give the key for. I can say we're a successful team because of the fans.
Okay.
Because of the structure, because of the resources that we have.
Okay.
Winning is just going to take time.
Okay.
What do I want him to invest? Yeah, he could buy a badass player like Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, right? But a team has to create a foundation where they can interact within themselves, and one player is not going to do that.
Dude,
I don't think. So
okay.
I think as a team, we're successful as we need to be right now. Yes, I would love more wins. And this season, we're starting off a little shaky. But we have such a good environment in the stadium. The support groups are awesome. The team is awesome. The content team, everybody overall has, in 1 year, man, they've built such a strong brand that we have 30,000 people in the stadium on average. And when you talk about other people that have their own stadiums, they get 15, 20,000, right? 1 year, man, and we average 30,000 people. Yeah, if we keep losing, it's probably going to go down. But it doesn't take away from how awesome the experience is. And even when we lose, we still have a good time because that's the type of environment that the fan base has built for Charlotte FC.
Dude, you just gave the message of why we're successful, and I think you just literally changed my mind. And I look at it a whole new perspective, and I know this is going to go viral with the Charlotte FC fans because we already are successful, because we have the fan, we have the community, and we're going to make a great team. It's not based off wins, but of how strong your foundation is. So, Javi, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Check you guys out later. Comment, like, and subscribe. What you guys think about this video? Compare foods. Give me some aguacates y huevos también.
Yes, for carnita asada. Let's have a carnita asada vlog.